Welcome to The Deep Dive, your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today, we're diving into, well, an extraordinary story, Satya Nadella, a journey that goes all the way from Hyderabad, India, to leading, one of the world's biggest tech companies, Microsoft. And the central question, the one we're really digging into today, is pretty compelling. How does one leader take a tech giant, one seen by many as, frankly, a bit old-fashioned, and not just turn it around, but guide it to, well, exponential growth? We're talking multiple trillions in market value. So our deep dive today comes from a really insightful conversation, an interview with Nadella himself, and it peels back the layers on his philosophy. This isn't just about business strategy, spreadsheets and market share. It's really about the profound personal and cultural shifts that made Microsoft's comeback possible. It's almost like a masterclass in modern leadership.
It really is.
Yes.
And what we'll uncover are some truly powerful lessons, maybe even counterintuitive ones.
Yeah.
At its heart, Nadella's leadership philosophy centers on empathy, and this idea he calls a learn-it-all mindset. It's fascinating, isn't it? How these, seemingly softer skills became the bedrock for huge technological leaps and incredible financial success. We'll explore his personal journey, the big strategic pivots, and that really deep cultural change he drove across Microsoft.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. His path. Nadella's early life, as Sophia explored in that interview, it began in Hyderabad, India, middle-class family.
Yeah.
Education, curiosity, these were clearly paramount. He even mentions learning things like patience, teamwork, strategy from cricket. Lessons that, clearly stuck with him. He joined Microsoft back in '92, called it a dream company.
Yep.
But interestingly, he wasn't aiming for CEO initially, just wanted to do meaningful work.
And what's fascinating there right from the start is this focus on constant learning and transformation. It wasn't just some corporate buzzword he picked up later.
Yeah.
It seems like it was baked in from the beginning, a lifelong approach.
Yeah.
And that really sets the stage, I think, for the kind of leader he'd become. You need that mindset in tech.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting. Fast forward to 2014, Nadella steps into the CEO role. Microsoft's still a giant, sure, but as Sophia noted, its shine seemed to have faded. What was the biggest challenge waiting for him, like day one?
Well, he was pretty direct about it in the interview. Internal rigidity, that was the killer. The culture had become, as he put it, competitive internally rather than collaborative. So innovation slowed way down. They were lagging badly, especially in mobile and cloud. I mean, Apple, Google, Amazon, they were just surging ahead in those areas. Microsoft felt stuck, siloed.
Right. And Nadella's answer, his big rallying cry, was to shift from being a know-it-all company to a learn-it-all company. Sounds great, but what did that actually mean day to day for the culture?
It was absolutely foundational. I mean, a complete rethink. This wasn't just about adopting new tech, It was about fundamentally changing how people thought, how they interacted. It implies moving away from being defensive about what you know and towards curiosity, adaptability, basically admitting, hey, maybe we don't have all the answers. Crucial for any company facing rapid change.
Learn it all. It's a powerful phrase.
Yeah.
But practically, how do you actually change the culture of a behemoth like Microsoft? Sophia pressed him on this.
Yeah, and he was clear. It had to start right at the top. Leadership had to model it. They needed to be humble, curious, open to learning, admit mistakes. And then maybe the most striking part, he made empathy the center of our culture, and he made it really personal.
He did. He shared that incredibly personal story about raising his son, Zane, who had special needs. He talked about how that experience taught him empathy on such a deep level, and he wanted Microsoft's products, its whole culture, to reflect that same inclusivity, that human touch.
It's quite something, isn't it? How often do you see a CEO bring that kind of vulnerability right into their leadership philosophy?
Not often.
That's a powerful example, really. How lived experience can shape an entire organization's ethos. It connects product development directly back to, human understanding.
Okay, so alongside this huge cultural shift, Nadella made a really bold strategic move too. Shifting Microsoft's focus to cloud first and mobile first. I mean, back then, most people just thought Microsoft was Windows and Office. How did he navigate that risk, pushing past that core identity?
Well, he definitely saw cloud as inevitable. You can see Amazon's AWS just exploding, Google investing massively. But here's the insight. Microsoft had something unique. Decades of trust with enterprise customers.
Right. Huge existing relationships.
Exactly. So his thinking was, if they could provide secure, scalable cloud services to the businesses already relying on them, they could actually lead. That's why they doubled down on Azure. It wasn't abandoning customers. It was serving them in a new way.
And look at Azure today. It's a giant. One of the top platforms. Shows those shifts weren't just talk.
Absolutely. And it highlights this connection, right, between that empathy-driven culture and the bold strategic bets. It wasn't just spotting a market trend. It was about leveraging trust, understanding customer needs, which is a form of empathy itself.
So Microsoft's value skyrockets under Nadella, multiple trillions, an amazing turnaround. Sophia asked him, was the secret mainly the tech, or was it more about his leadership approach?
And he was very clear. It was both. You can't separate them. He said something like, technology is essential, but technology without the right culture doesn't go far.
Makes sense.
Yeah. His point was that a toxic culture just kills innovation. But fostering empathy, that growth mindset, that unleashes creativity, makes the tech breakthroughs actually happen.
He mentioned AI too. Microsoft is obviously a huge player now, especially with OpenAI. Did he face much resistance internally when he first started pushing AI? Seems like it could have been a tough sell initially.
Oh, for sure. Skepticism always comes with new tech, right? But Nadella encouraged teams to see AI not just as code, but as a tool to solve real problems. He used the example of the Seeing AI app helping visually impaired people navigate.
Oh, right.
It showed AI could actually improve lives, not just, crunch data. It framed their whole AI strategy as purpose-driven.
That focus on humanity is really striking. But, he's still CEO. He has shareholders to answer to. How does he balance that empathy focus with the need for profitability? Aren't they sometimes at odds?
He argues they're not opposites at all. He actually said empathy drives profit.
Interesting. How so?
His logic is, well, if you really understand customer needs, their pain points, their goals, and you build inclusive products that genuinely meet those needs, demand grows. Think about Microsoft Teams. Built understanding how people connect. Then the pandemic hit.
Became essential overnight.
Exactly. A lifeline, he called it. Driven by empathy in its design, but it generated billions. So empathy led to profit.
Okay, let's talk perception. When Nadella took over, Microsoft really was seen as kind of old news, right? How did he deal with that criticism?
He didn't get defensive. He saw it as an opportunity, actually. Criticism tells you where you need to improve, right? So instead of a big PR campaign, they just focused on proving through action, innovating in cloud, AI, developer tools, just consistently delivering. He figured perception would change naturally if the results were there. Took patience, though.
Now, another big part of his leadership, acquisitions. LinkedIn, GitHub, Activision Blizzard, these are huge deals. What was the thinking behind those? Just getting bigger.
He insists it's not about empire building. It's about serving the long-term mission, right? So LinkedIn, combining professional networks with productivity tools. GitHub, empowering developers, the new builders, he calls them.
Right.
Activision Blizzard, that's about the future of gaming, a cultural and technological frontier. Each one, he argues, fits that broader mission. Empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. It's about strategic fit, not just size.
But big acquisitions are risky. And Microsoft had that famous failure with the Nokia deal before him. Did that shape how he approached these later massive deals?
He addressed that head on. Said, failure is a powerful teacher. He was candid about Nokia. Admitted they underestimated how difficult the smartphone hardware market was. Just wasn't their strength.
Right.
Making that tough call, writing it down, moving on, that taught a crucial lesson. Stay true to our strengths.
Yeah.
So later acquisitions were much more focused on areas where Microsoft could genuinely add value, where they had an advantage.
Yeah.
Learning from mistakes, basically.
He often connects empathy and leadership back to his personal life. How much does being a husband, a father especially, his experience with his son Zane, influence his day-to-day leadership?
Oh, profoundly, it seems. He calls his family his foundation. He explicitly said raising Zane, who had cerebral palsy, completely transformed his perspective. Taught him leadership isn't about commanding, it's about understanding. And he credits his wife, Anu, too. Calls her his biggest supporter and teacher, always pushing him to see things from other viewpoints. So that personal grounding, it seems to directly flow into how he leads the company.
Running a company that size must be unbelievably stressful. Does he share any routines, ways he finds balance?
He did share a few things. Reads poetry daily, apparently. Finds it calming. Helps reflection.
Poetry, interesting.
Yeah. Also mindfulness, regular exercise. And he still loves cricket, finds escape and parallels to teamwork there. But crucially, he said balance isn't about splitting time 50-50. It's about giving full attention to whatever you're doing in the moment. Focus.
Okay, looking ahead, AI, quantum computing, sustainability, huge topics. What excites him most about where Microsoft is heading?
He seems most energized by technology solving really big human challenges. He talks about AI for scientific discovery, healthcare breakthroughs, quantum computing for things like climate modeling, drug discovery.
Big picture stuff.
Exactly. And sustainability is key too, that commitment to be carbon negative by 2030. For him, the future is about using tech to build a more inclusive and sustainable world. Purpose is central.
He talks so much about that growth mindset, but how does he personally keep learning? I mean, after achieving so much, how does he stay hungry?
His answer was pretty humble, actually. He said, I remind myself every day that I don't know everything.
Huh. Simple but powerful.
Right. He believes the minute you think you've arrived, you stop growing. So he actively seeks out learning from books, colleagues, his kids, customers. He emphasizes that curiosity is infinite. It's a constant, deliberate practice for him.
Yeah, tough question time. What does he see as his biggest failure as CEO so far?
He pointed to whenever we move too slowly.
Interesting. Not a specific bad decision, but slowness.
Yeah. Regret when caution maybe became delay, recognizing market shifts too late, or being slow on AI adoption initially. It shows that even at that level, speed and agility are constant challenges. Sometimes inaction is the biggest risk.
And on the flip side, his proudest moment.
Reaching that $1 trillion market cap milestone.
Okay.
But not just for the number itself. He said it symbolized that our culture and strategy were working. It meant they'd regained relevance, trust, and he attributed that achievement to every Microsoft employee. Back to that team idea.
So before we wrap up, Sophia asked for one final message. For young leaders, entrepreneurs listening, what was his key advice?
It was powerful. Basically, don't chase titles or fame. Chase impact.
Chase impact.
Yeah. Lead with empathy, curiosity, and purpose. And he believes success will follow. And he added that reminder. Life is not a solo sport, it's a team sport. Collaboration, learning from others, it's all vital.
Wow. We've really unpacked a lot from that conversation with Satya Nadella. What really stands out to me is just how deeply his personal experiences, especially around empathy, became the absolute foundation for turning around this massive global company. It's such a human story.
It really is. We've seen how that shift from know-it-all to learn-it-all, combined with those huge bets on cloud and AI, just transformed Microsoft. But underneath it all, you keep coming back to this leadership philosophy that values human connection, purpose, not just tech for tech's sake or profit above all else. It really challenges the old models, doesn't it?
It does. So what does this all mean for you listening? Maybe consider how Nadella's journey shows that real innovation, sustainable growth, it often comes from a deeply human place, an empathetic approach. That idea, empathy drives profit. It's not just feel-good stuff. It challenges conventional business wisdom, offers a different kind of roadmap for success, really, in any field.
Absolutely. And maybe it leaves you with a question to think about. If the future of tech is about solving big human problems, with inclusivity and sustainability at the core, like Nadella suggests, how might that change your own approach to solving problems, to leading, or even just, your daily interactions? How could you cultivate more of that learn-it-all mindset in your own life, your work? And maybe ask yourself, what impact do you want to chase?